Yeah, one thing I learned from Peter one time: never deny. Tempted to catch amnesia sometimes. Never deny. Even when my faith will come a cry, I'll never deny. When I confess, I put my neck on the line. I'll never deny. I told you I would never fold, even in the cold. I never lose my hope, back against the ropes. The sun's flower from the concrete is where I rose. It's just perspective, ain't no location for highs and lows. I can't believe the lie no more, the truth is in my soul. Holy Spirit, hold my pen, I'm writing with a ghost. The war's on, my hands are up, I'm fighting on 10 toes. I ain't come this far, fight this hard to make myself known. And I can't switch sides no more, the fork is in the road, And I'm trying to eat, my plate garnished with goals. I keep my faith, they Yahweh, keep subscribing to the code. Through grace, I'm hanging in there like a closet full of clothes. It's nothing you can promise me to leave that light alone. It's honesty over me trying to be like these clones. I can't turn my faculties over for their control. Them are those who want us dead, they either on parole. Never know what rejection is until you've been opposed. Won't understand God's reflection till they fill you with holes. I share my views and get accused of me trying to impose. They push their views through schools and news shows. Persecute the youth for drug use and then powder their nose. Lies and fabricated truths, but how will we know? Unless the Father left us clues inside a book of quotes to show the greatest of all time is the lamb and not a goat. One thing I learned from Peter one time: never deny. Tempted to catch amnesia sometimes. Never deny. Even when my faith will come a cry, I'll never deny. When I confess, I put my neck on the line. I'll never deny. I'ma do this right, that's a sacrifice. They can miss me with the fame, miss me with the hype. You want me to play a game with the things I write, but I was never into playing games with my life. They say it's money on the line and I'm holding the dice, but I have no price, my soul to God, my body cold as ice. Now some might play dumb for 20,000 likes, but what everybody like won't help me sleep at night. No, am I called or am I not called to be salt and light? Did I use God to get me to the table? Now I'm like, I can't reach a broader audience by saying Christ. So I'm supposed to start avoiding him all day and night, Do I have the Holy Spirit or a poltergeist? Yeah, I slimmed down, not from New Orleans, I'm still a soldier right here. This is spiritual warfare that I'm supposed to fight. And Jehovah said all my sin is an oversight. My feet planted on a rock like soda and ice. When the money go, I'm still on go, his grace will suffice. There will come a time I can't purchase the merchandise. Keep the 6 absent from my flesh, that's a word of advice. Chasing bags to get you tagged like Judas type. It's more than just a ticket on your head for running through the light. Careful not to worship the golden calf, don't deny. Never get caught running with the bullseye like Pippin and Mike. One thing I learned from Peter one time: never deny. Tempted to catch amnesia sometimes. Never deny. Even when my faith will come a cry, I'll never deny. When I confess, I put my neck on the line. I'll never deny. The Father, he gon' tell the children what nobody knows. He'll paint the picture with the scripture if we listen close. Give me lesson, give me blessing all throughout my woes. What should have killed me has built me and made me whole. What should have killed me has built me, I'll never fold. What should have killed me has built me, I'm solid gold. What should have killed me has built me, I won't sell my soul. What should have killed me has built me, I'm fully known. No, and ain't nobody tell me it be like this, no. Got the pressure on me, but I won't quit, no. There's an open door, but I won't dip, though. Cause the Holy Spirit told me don't trip, yo. I got you. That's why I never fold. I got you. Don't ever let me go.
Yeah, Gucci Molly.
Don't ever let me go.
Yo, Gucci Molly.
Don't ever let me go.
Baby. It's on tonight.
Don't ever never let me go.
Welcome to Black Masking Inyans. This is a very special broadcast tonight. This is an address to the community of the Inyans in New Orleans. This is an address to all of the cultural community, from baby dolls to steppers to brass bands to Inyans, the whole kit and caboodle. Tonight is a explanation of what blackmasking.org is. There is a lot of conversation in the streets right now about black masking. We have been contacted by certain individuals. We have been spoken about on Facebook in several chat rooms in reference to us being culture vultures. Well, we want to address that this evening. This air that's in the atmosphere of New Orleans. Right now, New Orleans is a powder keg. It is a powder keg because it is in the midst of having this what you call a celebration called Mardi Gras. And the mayor has made quite a few changes. I see in the building, my sister, I see Shotgun Slim in the building. The mayor has made and just did a press conference that I just watched. That was probably a little bit earlier, where she reinforcing that everything is closed down, and for the Indians, the Inyans, to not go out and do what they normally do because of coronavirus. I see in the building Alana. Well, in that, there's a lot going on with that. There's a lot of feedback from the community about this encroaching upon their time and their celebration. But not only do we have that going on, we also have, as I stated, certain people not realizing what we are doing inside of the culture as well. Many believe that unless you are actually sewing or you're part of one of the groups, then you can't help the community or make money in the culture without being a part of a said tribe, a said carnival club, or just, I guess, somebody having to vouch for you. Well, I wanted to make clear, I'm glad you're in the building, Alpha One, but I hope you get your dad, Big Chief Al, to tune in with you right now, because we are addressing something that we will never address again. This will be the last time and the only time that we will come out in such a open manner to explain why we love this community and why we are doing the work that we're doing in this community. If there's anything I want you guys to understand tonight, is that there is a serious amount of love for the community of New Orleans between the people that are trying to help it, that is a part of Black Masking Inyans, blackmasking.org. I must go into a couple of things so that we can all be on the same page. I just told, thank you, Ashley. So as we go into this, we just established that many people in the culture that mask are the ones that sew, are the ones that our descendants, as I was told, as descendants of Black Indians. Some don't like to be called masking. Some don't like to be called Mardi Gras. Some don't like to be called this, and some don't like to be called that. I understand it. I got no issues with how a human being wants to be addressed. So I want y'all to know, again, this is all love that we're going to deal with tonight, but we're going to deal with our community as well as we dealing with blackmasking.org. Our community has stated that some aspects of our community, because we have much support from a large group of the masking Inyans. And many of those have told me I need not to do this address tonight. But as I expressed to them, we want to show humble and meekness. Now, some of my homies that's in the street of New Orleans that got my back and was like, nah, we don't do that. You didn't do that back in the day. We're going to, you stand up and you let them have it. No, 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 no. That is not how I'm coming tonight. I want y'all to know I come in peace with love and understanding tonight. I come very meek and humble to the cultural community as we explain who we are, why we here, and why we believe that if we can all work together, then we can come out of this together. Okay, first, we've addressed the fact that many believe that you have to either be sewing or in a tribe or something like that to help the community. I'm going to address that in a press release shortly. Not the one I'm about to read, but in another press release. Right now, we're going to first address who is blackmasking.org. So we're going to pull up our press release that we have for this year to explain exactly what we are doing. Because Channel 6, the Mardi Gras world, the city of New Orleans, City Park, all of these people are doing their carnival tradition, their Mardi Gras, so to speak. I'm going to read to you guys, especially for our people on Instagram. It states that New Orleans, Louisiana, Beulah Productions. So many of you may not know, but blackmasking.org is an affiliate company of our umbrella company, which is Beulah Productions. Beulah means the marriage between man and the Most High. So Beulah Productions LLC, under the direction of myself, has dedicated the last 4 years now to shining a light on the creation of opportunities for the Black masking community, whatever name you want to put in there. The descendants of Black Indians, if you want to put Black Indians, if you want to just put Inyans, right? The opportunities for the Inyan community, affectionately known, or rather, should we say appropriately known, should we say through the captivity and through the European economic constraints, have been named Mardi Gras Indians. Beulah Productions created blackmasking.org to ensure full attention and proper respect. Get this, we did this so that full attention and proper respect be paid to the cultural pillars of New Orleans. We don't say cultural bearers because bearer means that you're holding the load and you're falling. We see us as pillars upright in the community. And that's how we want to address our community, as a pillar. Because without us, it would be nothing but iniquity and barbaricness in the streets, as we already know. And it says, proper respect be paid attention to the culture pillars of New Orleans from the 42 Tribes Big Chiefs of the Week series. Okay, now many of us, right? Well, when you talk about Creek, when you talk about the Mardi Gras started in Mobile, Alabama. My brother Algernon is chiming in, and he's indigenous, so I want to give him the background. Biloxi was where Mardi Gras started by the crew of Comus almost. It was done by, it was a rebel rousing thing. It was no Inyans in what they did in Biloxi. In Biloxi, Mississippi, or Biloxi, Alabama, or wherever they said that they had the first Mardi Gras, that was a bunch of rebel rousers, that was drunken people in the street full of orgies. Do the research. That was the first Mardi Gras. Obviously, the Europeans came and found Indians here. So when we talk about it being a Mardi Gras Indians, when the Indians were here before the celebration of Mardi Gras was brought from Europe to this place. Now, as we get to the 42 tribes, why do we say 42 tribes when there are over 100 tribes in New Orleans? That's a very good question. The reason why we named or titled this series, and understanding that a series just means a section. So this series of 42 tribes, we got this from the list that the Jazz and Heritage Festival uses to give feathers out. That's where we got the names of the 42 tribes. So for everyone that wanted to know why we didn't only select 42 tribes, 4 years ago, we didn't know how many tribes there were. 4 years ago, there was no way of knowing, right, where the tribes were unless you were part of that crew. And a lot of them would say that was on purpose, and it should be on purpose. But understand this, that there are uptown tribes that don't know about some downtown tribes. There's some across the river tribes that don't know about uptown tribes. So that being said, nobody knows the true list of how many tribes there are in New Orleans. Nobody. Nobody. One, because tribes will deactivate, reactivate, tribes will change names, tribes will come together and form one. There is no way that you can actually put a number to the amount of tribes that we have in the city. Facts. What we did by using the number 42 was to bring attention to let the rest of the world know that there's a large group of people here doing this. That this isn't just something that is in a corner, something that is just a relic or some type of token that's part of some other celebration, but that this wasn't a culture that had 42 tribes. Nobody had ever heard of them being a 42 tribes in a city that is only 32 miles long, 36 miles. New Orleans is 36 miles long. We said there's over 100 tribes, and the 42 was just to show that there's more tribes than there is space in the city of New Orleans. So we chose the 42 tribes and we took the list that we had that was available. Many people feel a certain way about the Jazz and Heritage Festival list, and they should. They feel a lot of ways about how the feathers are being distributed from the Jazz and Heritage Festival, and they should. We felt some type of way about it as well. Me as a man from the city of New Orleans, born and raised, that have been with Indians all my life, but never was a sword, understood the plight of being messed over. Because anybody can understand being messed over. You don't have to be an Inyan to understand somebody doing an injustice to an Inyan. All you got to know is injustice is there. So we saw that there was an injustice being done. Let me continue to read. 42 tribes we featured and published in a newspaper. Many of you don't know how hard it is to be published in a newspaper. And then they have a series of 42 different stories to be published in a publication. It is not easy. It does not happen every day. You will not find, and in the world of literature, of journalism, in the world of finding information, of Googling and whatnot, if you don't have a body of information written, then they assume that you don't exist. Or they take whatever somebody has written about you and take that as fact. So we were, thanks to the Most High, placing me in the family he did, I was able to get 42. Well, we only did 38, couldn't finish it. We did 38 of them, and we interviewed 42, but we haven't been able to publish the last four. We published 38 of them, which began a track record. So the brother that called me and asked and spoke to me about the issue that they were having with us saying black masking Indians did not have a problem with being called descendants of black Indians. It was the word masking that they had an issue with. I understand that. I'm not here to debate the masking part. What I'm stating is that in our conversation, the brother expressed to me that we had done a lot of good work and that this work was encompassing or overshadowing, or he felt it was overshadowing the culture. Well, in that, I say that we put the work in, and the work that we put in was to give highlight and to respect this culture. Because if we had not started this 4 years ago, what we are witnessing right now in the city would be a little bit worse. And maybe you wouldn't know, maybe you would be able to tell, you would know. But let's finish so I can fully explain what I mean by that. By having a track record, having something published, it now journalists from across the world that want to write about you in the city, they finally had something that was written about you that was not connected to Mardi Gras. I want y'all to understand if we had not done this 4 years ago, there is nothing written about the culture of the Indians in New Orleans that is not connected to Mardi Gras. It does not connect us to our roots. It does not connect us to us being here before slavery. It does not connect us to anything but being the minion of the Europeans. All right. With that said, we published that. We did the tribes. And then in 2017, 2018, we actually, I wanted to pull it up, but I don't have it on me. I was going to pull up the actual, I wonder if I could pull that up right quick. Nah, I'm not, I'm going to stay on point. I didn't pull it up beforehand, so I'm not going to pull it up now. We did in 2018, we took the film because we didn't just write about the culture from the outside in. We didn't do like Europeans do and came in and said, well, we're going to dictate or tell you what you are or write about you in the manner that we think that you are. We came in and asked the questions of the big chiefs and let them speak for themselves. So when you see the videos that we've done on YouTube or on our website, blackmasking.org, you will find that you will not see my face. You see the chief speaking. It is their words. That is a first time in New Orleans. That is a first time in New Orleans that you have a video that is not showing you on the street in your suit, but actually sitting down and speaking about your culture, your love, and your desire for this culture to be preserved. That is what we did. That is what we have done without federal funding. Without federal funding. I'm sorry. Let me calm my spirit. Because when someone tells you that you're getting funding from the enemy and your entire way of doing things has been to be the opposite of that, it makes you feel some type of way. But I have no feelings towards my brothers. As I told that brother, I salute him. I said, no matter how our conversation ends, know that I salute you for trying to protect your culture. I cannot be mad at that. I cannot be mad at any man or woman that wants to protect her culture and is going to chin check somebody that they may think is doing wrong. I got no problem with that. I got no problem with that. I just ask that you don't accuse what you not familiar with. I don't have all the facts to bring forward. So what we did in 2017, 2018 was we took the funding, or we took the film that we had done when we went and spoke to all these chiefs, and we decided, okay, we got so much information. We got uptown, we got downtown, we got crosstown. Shouts out to Big Chief Casby, right? We got all of this film. All these chiefs gave us so much love and gave us their story. But I don't have federal funding. So I can't create the giant movie that everybody would want to see. I can't do the marketing and the websites and pay for all these things because we don't have government funding. So we took our own and we paid for a movie editor. Shouts out to my brother LeVay Ballet and to Tobias. I mean, shouts out to Tobias. My brother, you did work. So when we put this film together, we didn't charge the community to come and see it. Nah. We didn't charge for the community to come see it. Maybe we chose the wrong date. We chose Bayou Classic weekend because it was in the middle of the Thanksgiving. And we were trying to show that our people were not killed in all their Thanksgiving celebrations, that we are still here. So we did it during Bayou Classic. We had a little bit of issue with the traffic. We still sold out though. It was free. So we had enough reserved tickets that showed that we sold it out, but we didn't get everybody in the seats because some wanted to be at the Bayou Classic. Many of the Indians were being paid to go and perform for the Classic in different parties. It didn't stop our big chiefs from coming that were featured in the downtown Indian culture. So the next question was posed, what about the uptown? Well, what we decided to do was, since we had all this film and we needed to raise money, right? Because we couldn't finish the whole project with our money. We weren't making any money. We were just investing money. All right. So at this point, we decided, okay, we're just going to do downtown because we're going to show the 3D beating. And then we'll come back with the uptown film. After we raise money from the downtown film, we'll complete the uptown film. When we complete that, then we'll take the funds from that and do a giant cultural film that would encompass the baby dolls, that would encompass the big queens, that would encompass the steppers, that would encompass the footwork, that would encompass the brass bands. That was our plan to bring our culture to its respectful position in the city. Many that don't know us or follow us, they may get the advertisements and the things that we're doing and may not understand all that we've done. Here it showed you guys that we started 3 years to 4 years ago, and it brings you to our film in 2018. Then COVID happened, and then it says, and Butyl Productions has proven to be committed to investing. We have been proven to be committed to investing in a culture that is uniquely New Orleans, committed to allowing the culture to tell its own story. That's what we're committed to. We're committed to you telling your story. Whether your story says that you are a Mardi Gras Indian, whether your story says you are a Black Mexican Indian, whether your story says that you are a descendant of a Black Indians, whether your story is you are part of the Maroon Society, shout out to Sharice Harrison, right? No matter what your thing is, that's your story we want to bring forth. That is our reason for being here, so that through the annals of time, we are not forgotten, right? So it says, so blackmasking.org in conjunction for this year. So let me, before I go into what we're doing this year, to total up our 3 years, right? Let's go to show you one of the events that we did, right? Because many of you may think, well, where is the event? Go to our YouTube page, and you'll see that we did 2 festivals, that this is our 3rd festival. That we have not only done not only have we done the video work and wrote the articles, right? Not only did we come out with a film, but we actually did 2 festivals within those 3 years, those 4 years as well. And I'm going to play you guys, not the festival that we had, because we had 2 festivals which we paid the Indians, we paid the brass band, we paid everybody to be a part, and we gave it free for the community, and we gave food for the community. No federal funding, no grants, no subsidies, nothing. So we're going to play this. We also, so besides the 2 festivals, we did a flag football game. Here we go. We had the Indians in there, the Eagles. I'm going to put it on pause right here. We did this game a year. This was the year before we did the film. Before we dropped the film, we did this as the uptown, to bring uptown and downtown together. We understood that there was a thing between uptown and downtown. So we wanted to bring all of the Indians together, uptown and downtown, to play a flag football game during Thanksgiving weekend to say, no, we're not celebrating their holidays. We're celebrating our lineage and heritage on this land. And guess what? We paid for it. We even bought trophies. Yeah. Ask Big Chief Bo Dallas. Ask Big Chief Robert Dewey. Right? Freaky E from Uptown Warriors. So from uptown to downtown, we have been doing the work for free with our money, our own investment, our money. Excuse me, let me take that back. Because as the song came on, it said, I would never fold Peter like Peter did. The Most High provided all of what we were able to give to the community. Not a white man, not a government, not a job, not a corporate thing, but the Most High provided the funds that we doled out for our community. So we did the game here, and it was doing Thanksgiving so that we would reclaim our heritage, that we're not just on Mardi Gras Day, that we are Indians. You are living in New Orleans, so you are living in a community of indigenous people. And you have to understand that this is how indigenous people get down. You're going to respect our heritage. So this is the game. And we fed the entire community with not manchus. We did fish. We had grilled fish, grilled vegetables. We fed the community healthy.
Day and just a day of activity, brotherhood,
brotherhood,
safety, fun.
Hey man, this game brings a lot of people together from all walks of life. And that's why I'm out here at my age, at 67, bro. Yes, sir.
Now, this is the grill and the food, but that's not why I stopped it. Because not only are we dealing with the Indians of the sewing community, but we deal with the actual Indians. The brother that's on the grill is my brother Keelan, and he's a Topeka Ishak. A Topeka Ishak. They come from the Port Lahash, right? Port Lahash, where the Europeans came in and they chopped their heads off and put them on poles. A Topeka Ishak tribe, not a Mardi Gras tribe. They don't come out. They don't sew. They've been here from the beginning. And listen what he says about Thanksgiving.
On Thanksgiving, the Puritans, people who came from Europe, killed my people off, and they got diseases and smallpox and stuff like that. And every Thanksgiving day was a slaughter. There were Thanksgiving days 3 or 4 times a week. So every time there was a slaughter of my people, there was a Thanksgiving celebration. So the President Abraham Lincoln decided to stop the slaughtering by declaring one national day of Thanksgiving. And that's how we get today, the one national day of Thanksgiving, to stop the slaughtering that happened all year of the native people. My people, your people.
No, he didn't. I can't stand that.
That uptown roof.
That guy with a 9 on his back. Oh, you gonna put it downtown. Downtown. Don't make me say it. Don't make me say it. Downtown. Downtown. We making plans. I don't like that.
Big G, what?
Disgusting, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to know from here on out, this is fun and love between uptown and downtown. We love each other. We do this, but guess what? Right now, this competition, downtown is bringing the pain. They're trying to get in right now. They're trying to build a blur. It's illegal substitution, ladies and gentlemen. Is that what you call that? Illegal substitution. Oh, come on.
That's all Indians playing there. no
like y'all
other
don't hear this.
facility.
Y'all pay for the game. Come watch this show.
So y'all, we had a trophy and
My
everything.
city, oh my God, I love my city. Right? Come help me out over here around all these people. Come on in the circle of love.
Uptown was in red, downtown was in purple.
So we got Big Chief on here.
And we bought the shirt.
Oh, that nigga she is. You saw a couple of the dogs. I'm sorry to say it. I had to say it. So we want to make our presentation. We got a trophy here. Now this is different, right? Because this trophy is not going to travel. This is the first class, but this will be the first annual and the one that will stay with Big Chief to win the night ball. That's a black hatchet, baby. Between him and my other brother's the MVP, my brother, y'all was going in.
We are the MVP.
So that was one of 4 events that we've done in the 4 years that we have been with trying to bring this culture to its light with our investment, with our desire to love this community, so that this community would not be treated like they're being treated right now in this hour. We are the community of Indians and the the carnival community is being treated real soft right now by the government. So, we're gonna continue to go on, and I'm gonna play this video, but I want to go to the press release right here. So, as for 4 years, we have dedicated ourselves to the community. We've done 2 festivals, a flag football game. We fed the community. We did a world premiere movie at the aquarium that we rented out. We rented out the aquarium to show you guys on the big screen, the biggest screen in Louisiana. We wanted to do that to say, hey, this is how we should be represented in this city. On the water, because we're the children of Chopitulos, right? Chopitulos mean the children by the water, right? The people by the water. That's what Chopitulos means. So that's why we had it at the aquarium on the water to honor our ancestors. Now, we tried to get funding. Oh, yes, yeah. Because we're running out of money. So we tried to get funding. We went to the downtown development district. I want y'all to understand something before I play this video clip. Your story, they will allow to be heard as long as it fits in their narrative. In the movie that we're going to be opening up for the entire world on Mardi Gras on February 15th, that we're going to live stream, the one that we did for the community, the same one, the same downtown Indian community video we did, movie, short documentary. In that, we have a section that talks about how Jesus, the white image of Jesus, has led astray the indigenous community. When the downtown development district got a hold of that, they were like, whoa. We had got the money, y'all. We had got the funding. It was going to pay for the whole rental. They was going to have enough that we could have had a little extra on the side to give to the community. They had to see the film first. When they saw the film, they came back and said, this would be a little too controversial. So we can't give you the 5,000 we was going to give you. I said, well, that's cool. Give me 3. And said, ooh. I said, well, give me 1. Give me 1. Brother out here hurting. Give me 1. You know what I'm saying? How your boy Chris Rock said, give me 1 rib. 1 rib. If y'all remember that movie. But anyway, they said no. And we were at the point there that we'd already put out the advertisement, that we had stated we was going to do. We called all the chiefs. And it was either I was going to pay for it or it wasn't going to happen. I paid for it. Now, if I was going to get 5,000 from them, y'all want to take a gather of how much it cost? It wasn't $100. It damn sure wasn't 1,000. So we did that for the community. No charge. Because we're dedicated to the community. We're dedicated to the story being told by its own people. Now, in this short clip, this was done about the third year, in the beginning of what we were doing, and this didn't make it to the movie per se. This has certain aspects in the movie, but this is from the indigenous people's mouths. This is from the chief's mouths. Now I understand, and we're going to get into it, that this Indian culture doesn't always see itself the same way. It's not reflected from one tribe to the other. Others want to call themselves this, others want to call themselves that. Some have problems with certain names here. Some say that this person don't know the history. Some say that the youth don't know it. They're just trying to get in the gang. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole lot of conversation, not a lot of unity. We wanted to show a united front. And this is what we did as a 5-minute teaser. Right? Tito Pa This is done at Washington.
Hoa Halito Itawukala. That is greetings and peace in the native language of the Washington Empire.
Wake up, 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 wake up. We've been asleep for
this culture is mainly a culture that is self-taught, self-sustained, and self-funded. And I call it Afro-New Orleans culture. Those words were by Donald Harrison Jr. And the reason we say it's Afro-New Orleans culture is mainly because this is probably the only African culture that you may not find in Africa because it's born right here in New Orleans. I am Chief Shaka Zulu, and I am a part of what we call the Black Masking Indians of New Orleans. Many of you may have heard it by the name of the Mardi Gras Indians, but that was a name that was given to us. It was not a name that we call ourselves. We are a culture that live on oral traditions. And the danger in living on oral traditions is if you don't document your history, somebody may document that history for you, and that documentation doesn't have to be accurate. So now we're getting to the point to where we're starting to document our history. I've been a part of this culture for a long time now, I can say, and I have not really seen much about this culture that seems to be the accurate information. So it prompted me to start doing research on my own. And I didn't just stay in New Orleans with this research, because this culture is really a culture that comes from our existence as indigenous people of the land. Many people may say Native America, but when it refers to Louisiana, we have a very, very long history of existence on this land before this place was called America, or before Louisiana was a part of America. So I always relate this culture to the indigenous people. And I want to speak on that a little bit by saying that not all African people got here through the slave trade. Even though, contrary to what a lot of books will say, or what you have heard in many different mediums, but Africans have explored many parts of the world, not just Louisiana, many years before what we know as the transatlantic slave trade. You can go as far as Australia with the Aboriginal people, and you'll see presence and existence of our people being there many years before the slave trade. You can go as far as Mexico with the Olmec culture or the Yanga culture. And there's many books on it. It's not just my words. There's a book by Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, They Came Before Columbus. And he speaks about many of those existent Olmec statues and the culture that existed in Mexico many years before the slave trade. Louisiana wasn't exempt. You can go to Poverty Point, this northern Louisiana, and you'll see mounds. And mounds are just, to me, examples of pyramids that you'll find on the continent of Africa. So it's the same pretty much culture that you'll find here in Louisiana. And it also shows existence of us being present here in Louisiana many years before the transatlantic slave trade. So when it refers to the culture that we call the Mascan Indians or the Black Indians that people may refer to as the Mardi Gras Indians, I can speak of why we started, when we started, and who are the cultural bearers of that culture that mask this tradition here today.
So as you see right there on the screen, Channel 4, Cumulus Radio, and Delgado. So you got some people in our community that likes to look at logos and think logos mean money. Well, it doesn't. Channel 4 pulled out. I was getting with Channel 4 because, as you will find and as you were going to read in the letter, that our goal, after we got to the documentation part, is about bringing economics to the community, right? Like nobody is balling in New Orleans, right? Nobody got it like, whatever. So we understand that as we were told, as when we walked into this, that it was a community that was getting shafted for feathers, that the feather prices were going up, the beading prices were going up, and this was 4 years ago, and that it was going to be harder for our community to do the things that they do because of inflation. So, okay, well, we're in the midst of documentation and we're putting the movies together and we speaking to each one of these chiefs and the chiefs are telling us their plight. So I said, well, okay, I know a couple of people in New Orleans. Let me call Channel 4 because I come to find out the man that's over Channel 4 has been following the second lines all his life and been taking pictures all his life. So I really felt as though the brother would be able to relate to the plight of our community. I sat down with him and said, we have been documenting this. We are doing our festivals, but we have to bring an economics to our community that is not connected to the government. I said, we want to create a feather fund. And the reason why we came with a feather fund, let me back up, right? So I'm telling you about Channel 4 and how Channel 4 pulled out and how they weren't a part of it and how we were trying to get the feather fund established with their promotion. I figured with Channel 4 doing some commercials about bringing some funds to the community, then that would be the #1 station in New Orleans, right? Because when we came in and decided we were trying to raise funds for the community, we were told that chiefs had issues, which is understandable, that chiefs had issues asking for GoFundMes. That they had 1 or 2 chiefs that actually did a GoFundMe, and the community, I see in the building, Big Chief, Creole Wild West, that they were very upset with this particular chief that had done this GoFundMe. And the other big chiefs expressed to me that we are a proud community of men, that we are control of other men. We help structure other men's lives and give them structure. It's kind of hard for me that's setting structure for the 15 men that's following me to say I need to GoFundMe. And I said, I get it, Chief. Boom. I understand that. So when I came into how did Black Masking, or how did Beulah Productions get into Black Masking or into the indigenous culture? Beulah Productions is a multimedia company, meaning that we had recording artists, meaning that we did voiceovers, we did music, we did all kinds of things, right? Because that's where I come from. I come from a marketing media background, so that was my company. We had a group that we had just done, and we had completed a single, and I needed help getting it in the community because it wasn't a song that I was trying to get on the radio. It was a song that I was trying to get to be a community favorite. We had done a Saints song but we had not used any of the Saints players' name. The whole song was geared towards the community and what the community does and how we rally around who's ever playing on Sunday. So I went to my cousin who's in the culture, Eric B, drum chief, right? Well, Eric B said, and plus he's in music, and Eric B was also booking many of the tribes internationally. So I'm like, okay, my cousin Eric B, right? He can do me this solid, right? He can help get this music to the culture, the Inyan culture of the community, the steppers community, and it could be something that we could all rally around. Don't matter when a Breeze leave or this person leave or Sean Payton leave, that this would be a rally song about what we do on Sundays to go to the game, from the red beans and rice to the fried chicken to all these different things that was uniquely New Orleans, right? So I asked him to help us get this music into the community. And plus, he was also booking for French Quarter Festival, right? So my cousin says to me, hey, I understand what you want to do, think the song is good, but our community needs something. And every time somebody comes to ask our community for something, they don't never put nothing back in. I was like, I feel that. I said, well, then what can I do? He said, well, we know you're good at raising funds. So we want to create a feather fund so that the chiefs don't have to, it was for twofold. The feather fund is for twofold. One, so that you will provide free materials for the Inyans to create their suits and for steppers and whatever, and have enough material so that it can be given to the kids, so that the kids would be able to learn the culture and have enough materials in order to play with and to learn with. Because as of now, everything somebody gets, they got to use it for their suit. There's a hook and crook situation going on. So I said, okay, well, yeah, cuz, I mean, I could write something up and I can talk to my people that I know, which brings me to the Channel 4, right? I said I could talk to a couple of people that I know in that area, in that corporate arena that does funding and this, that, and we write it up as a feather fund for the community. Everybody in the city of New Orleans love the Inyans. I thought this was going to be really easy. I'm totally honest with you. I thought this was going to be a quick letter, get it to the right people. They were going to drop a $2,000 here, $4,000 here, $5,000 here, and we would start the process. Well, what I found out was that everything associated with the name Mardi Gras was already allocated. You don't know what the word allocated means. It means that it's already promised to a nonprofit company. That every year, the city has a lineup of nonprofit companies that go after the cultural funding. You understand what I'm saying? There's people that write grants. There's people that write proposals. There's people that write for subsidies, government subsidies. These people are educated. These people are well educated that put these things together, because once you put it together, it can be told no, or you have to redo it, and then you have to resubmit it. You have to be really quick with the understanding of the verbiage that they use, because their funding is allocated by certain words. If you don't use those words when you're asking for funding, you will not receive funding. I'm going to say it slowly. That the way the government works, the way that they allow their funding to come through, they allow funding to come through for particular words, particular phrases, hot topics, hot numbers, right? So Mardi Gras is a hot word. Black masculine is not. Indian is not. Mardi Gras is the hot word. And if you put Mardi Gras in your proposal, then you are looking for a certain pot of funds that comes just for that. Now, many of you may ask the question, where does that pot of money come from? Where is that pot of money that has this federal funding in? Well, you're missing something. It also has money coming from your tax dollars. Your tax dollars is what the city hall uses to put on Mardi Gras. This is how it works. Your tax dollars in the city as an Inyan pays for the Mardi Gras. The city council every year takes the taxes of yours and decides how much they're going to apply to Mardi Gras to happen. That's the police, that's everything. Now, for the companies, the nonprofits to get some of that money, they have to go to they have to apply for federal fundings to be a part of this Mardi Gras thing that's happening that the city of New Orleans and paid for. When you go there, you have to use the word Mardi Gras because that's the only party. There is no words for Indian celebration. There is no grants for Carnival. There are grants for Mardi Gras. I want y'all to make sure y'all understand what I'm saying. New Orleans has more festivals than anybody in the world. They have 154, in between 147 and 154 festivals. And each one of those festivals are run by a nonprofit company. Every one of them. So what we found was that when we got in the game, we was a little too late. There was no funds to be gotten. So we realized that we had to be like Prince. We had to change the name. We had to create a lane in order for funding to come in. We had to change the name, create a lane in order for us to receive funding. We never received funding, but we did change the name and we did change the lane. The funding with Channel 4, the funding we're trying to create is the Feather Fund. As I told you, my brother, my cousin Eric B. set me down, and he also set me down with Shaka Zulu. So Shaka Zulu, that was with Creole Wild, not Creole, with Yellow Pocahontas at the time. Now he's got Golden Feather. They sat down with me and asked me to help them with the Feather Fund. I put the verbiage together. I went out in the streets and hit a couple of doors, and I found the information that I just told you. So then I said, okay, well then, how can we get around this? How can we maneuver this? I said, okay, if we make the Feather Fund and we just go around to the regular citizens, because as I said earlier, the big chiefs did not want to do a GoFundMe, which I understand. But if we created the Feather Fund and we were the ones that was actually saying go fund, then it takes it away from the chiefs. The chiefs don't lose any face. The culture doesn't lose any face. We just become a company that is dedicated to getting funding for them. That is what we have been doing. Now, when I sat down with Channel 4 and the Feather Fund and said, look, we want to partner with Channel 4, and we want to have Channel 4, just like you do the Spirit of New Orleans. We wanted Channel 4 to say the spirit of the Indians, the spirit of the city of the Indians, donate to the Feather Fund that would pay for them to be able to do what they do every year. Sounds simple, right? I thought it was real simple. I mean, it's like 1 + 2, 3. But I told them we wanted to raise $1 million. I said, well, the Jazz and Heritage Festival already does 150,000, and that doesn't do nearly enough. I said, so we need $1 million a year. The city makes 90 million. The city makes 90 million a year off of the culture of the Indians. Not Mardi Gras. The first year that we did our first festival and we tried to get the city to be a sponsor, they told us no because they had allocated all their funds, as I stated. And I said, well, you know what? Give us a letter stating that you support us. This is where the Most High was working with me. Most High said, don't worry about their money. Get them to back the black masking name. Get them to make the separation from Mardi Gras Indian to a black masking Indian. If I can get them to give me a letter saying that they recognize that what the black masking Indians do outside of what Mardi Gras is, then that would be the letter that we could use to get more funding. And it did. Scott States. I think it was the guy over music or whatever. Scott, y'all know what I'm talking about. He gave me a letter, and the letter stated that the Indians by themselves generated $90 million a year for the city of New Orleans. So when I said we want to raise $1 million, I mean, I'm thinking that's pretty reasonable according to the 90 that you're already getting. So When I sat down with them, they said that was a little too lofty. They felt as though that was a little too far out there and stopped returning my phone calls. Cumulus Radio, no funds, trade because they want to be the community's radio station. So they gave me radio spots to be attached to the documentation, to the truest culture, because there was no other connection that they could make through it. Delgado allowed us to do a lecture there where we were able to tell the upper echelon educated people, right, the highfalutin people, we were able to do an actual show the film and actually give a symposium on the true culture, the indigenous culture that we are in. We did that at Delgado. Again, we didn't get any funding. Delgado got a little funding to help us do it, but we didn't get any funding. So now that brings us to where we are today and all the things that is in the air about what we could have or what we have been doing. Back then also we had our shirts. That was the way that we were going to build funds to the Feather Fund. We were going to sell shirts, right? The first set of shirts had Shaka on it and his wife, Naima, as the queen. I still love that queen shirt. It didn't sell. People had felt some type of way about Shaka. Go figure, right? Go figure. So the Inyans didn't support the shirts. The community, because the Inyans didn't support the shirts, they didn't buy the shirts. So we done spent the money on the programs, we done spent the money on the movies, and we're now sitting here trying to sell some shirts to try and recoup and continue the effort. Because we ain't stopping. We're trying to continue the effort. Well, that didn't work. So now plan B. Laid up there and said we're gonna come up with a whole new design. We're gonna come up with a whole new appeal. Now, black masking, because blackmasking.org started off as B-NOLA, Better NOLA, because our efforts was to improve our indigenous community. And it was changed to blackmasking.org after interviewing all the chiefs, and all the chiefs referring to themselves as such and said that's what they would prefer. So we changed the name to Black Masking Inyans. As you saw in the video, we spelled it with an E at first in the beginning. We're still working on it. We still get things together, right? But we did these things, got no funding, had to revamp the selling of the shirts. We decided to get with Big Chief Al Wamble of the Cheyenne tribe. After interviewing Big Chief Al Wamble, I realized that his sister was the one that raised me, right? So when you look at the Big Chief image on our shirts, it is of Al Wamble, not a fictitious drawn Indian, not from a book from some days, from way back in the days, but an actual picture of an actual Indian that we connected with and made a deal with to be able to use his likeness. Money back to the community. We haven't sold anything because the community hasn't joined in. So we haven't been able to make that come to fruition because the community isn't supporting it like they should. Because some believe that we are gaining and making money off of this because we have good work ethic, because we cross our T's and dot our I's, because we have a good marketing team, because we're dedicated to what we're doing and it's showing. It appears to be that we're making hand over fist money and can be considered a culture vulture. Okay. Present day. So we decided not only going to revamp the shirts, not only do we understand the complexity and the tapestry of the New Orleans scene, understanding history as well, that if you want to make money, you got to go outside of New Orleans, point blank. Because as I just stated, all the grant money and funding money is all wrapped up by the Europeans. We don't get any money in the city. We're all fighting amongst each other for any scraps that get dropped from the master's table. So we all in this rat race together, right? Getting it how we live, but we ain't really living. We getting it how we live, but we ain't really living. So we decided to go international, get out the city. So now people see that we have the third annual international festival by my brother Curtis Pierre, and it says blackmasking.org in conjunction with Casa Samba, master percussionist Mistre Curtis Pierre will host the No Umbao International Virtual Carnival 2021 and beyond. This year's festival Carnival will be a combination of live stream events and exhibitions beginning on Lundi Gras, February 15th, where we will debut the on-demand, the Downtown Inyan Culture film. And culminating with, I missed my own thing, 2021 with the online on-demand premiere of Downtown Inyan Culture documentary short film, culminating with our third annual Black Masking Cultural Festival live stream on Easter Sunday. So we got 4 events that we're doing. Lundi Gras, Mardi Gras, St. Joseph Night, Easter Sunday. Wrap it up. And it says, the Black Masking Cultural Festival Ambassador Mistre Curtis Pierre will introduce Bridging the Gap between Carnival in New Orleans, Carnival in South America, Brazil, Trinidad, hosting a live stream conference call with Grammy-winning samba artist Niguinho, the #1 Brazilian Carnival Club members, and of course New Orleans Carnival Clubs featuring special guest Marilyn LaForge of Bayou Becnel from the island of Lucia in Trinidad. So with Pan Vibrations. So what we did was we decided to show the city of New Orleans that you can't shut us down, that our culture is part of a diaspora, that we aren't just what we are in North America. We're connected to the South America. We're connected to the Caribbean. We're connected to Africa. We are all one people that have been affected by the transatlantic slave trade and by the Reconquista Spanish slave trade. And that slave trade has put us all in different places across the Americas, going under the same slavery as under the Christians, under the same slavery mechanism as the Christians. So that's why we all celebrate Carnival. And did you know that Brazil has a St. Joseph Night as well? Because we dealt with the same Christian oppressors, the same French and Spanish Christian oppressors. So our culture isn't just New Orleans, but our culture is the culture of North America. And what you guys do by sewing and coming out is preserving that. And all we want to do at Black Masking was document it and put you in your true royalty and let you speak it. And then raise funds so that you don't get cut out by this government, so that you don't have to get vaccines. You don't have to do all these things that they're going to want to do. Consume. Before you can go into an NFL stadium or to an NBA stadium to perform for the Saints or for they're going to tell you need to be vaccinated. Now, I don't know where y'all stand on y'all vaccinations, but we don't stand with that. To each his own. But if you're not about that, it's going to be very hard to eat in this new society if you have not chosen to have the vaccine. So what we're trying to create with all things that we're doing is an opposite lane that you don't need no vaccine in order to generate economics. So going international and creating an international marketplace, meaning that you can sell whatever you create. Nobody in the world beads. Nobody in the world beads. Nobody in the world beads the way New Orleans does. It is a culture that can be a multi-million-dollar culture on its own. Never showing anybody how to do it. Never giving up your trade secrets to do it. Just providing the finished product. So we said, okay, if we can get Brazil, which was a far-fetched, I'm like, I think the most high for this. So, okay, we can get Brazil to go ahead and give us the stuff that they do in their carnival and sell it on our store, and we can get Trinidad to do it along with the New Orleans, then that way we could actually corner, are y'all with me? We can actually corner a market that's already established. New Orleans spends millions of dollars to advertise what you do. We ain't got to reinvent the wheel. We just had to create a lane that the money would flow to those right people. You couldn't create this under Mardi Gras because all the funds that will come in from anybody would go to them. So if we can get a marketplace and our people provide whatever they want to be, you can beat a shirt. You ain't gotta sell your suit. You can beat a shirt. You can beat a tambourine. You can beat an umbrella, for goodness sake. But along with all the other carnival communities being on this marketplace, it will bring the entire world and say that the world would have to break their shoulders to pay your price. The world would have to break their shoulders to pay your price because they couldn't get it anywhere else. Not from a drughead Indian, not from a down on his luck Indian, not from somebody that then learned the culture and making their own bullshit suits. No. If they want the authentic, they would have to come to this marketplace that represents a culture that is before slavery, that is connected to a diaspora internationally. That takes us out of being controlled by the city of New Orleans. But that was our thoughts. You know what I'm saying? That was our thoughts. Some of you may not like those thoughts. Some of those thoughts may be too much. But when I came across the problems that we came across the obstacles that we did, those were the answers that were provided. To not stop because of the obstacle, to not give up, to not bow down, but to figure out a way to go over, to cross over. So this year, we are going international with it. We are attempting to do something that they tell us, nigga, you better never try it. We're trying to live our best life. We're actually trying to do the right thing by our community, for our community, and make our community what we believe it is, what we see it in our eyes, not what anybody else sees. Not what anybody else sees. Only what the beauty and the royalty that we see. And thanks to the Most High, the Brazil people are up with it. They bout it. They understand they're going through the same situation. But let me tell you the difference between Brazil and every other carnival place in the world. The reason why we want to connect to Brazil and to Trinidad and these other communities is because they are sponsored by their city, by their country. Brazil, they don't pay to make their suits. The country buys it for them. So I thought, well, if the government is paying them and it's free for them, if they sell what they have gotten for free, then that's straight cash to them. Well, if I could get Brazil to order beadwork from New Orleans, if I could introduce Brazilian clubs to the tribes in New Orleans, and these Brazilian clubs can order beaded work from New Orleans, we might be talking about creating some economics that nobody can mess with. That can't nobody cut that tunnel off. Can't nobody cut that funnel, that pipeline off. I say, well, hold up. If we can get the feather fund rocking and we can raise $1 million, then that means when we give all of the materials to the Indians and they make it, then they said they got enough extra to make other things. Now they're making a product, setting the price to that product, and now they got clear and free money. It's called supplemental income. If you're given, so that's what the Feather Fund is about. But in order to make money for the Feather Fund, you have to create these other avenues to generate funds too. So our shirts, we wanted to give a certain percentage of the shirts profits to the Feather Fund. What we make off of the films, we want to give a certain percentage back to the Feather Fund. For the marketplace, when you guys create something, and by the way, the marketplace is free to the community. We're spending our money to create a website that will allow you to have your own store. We're going to design the store. You give us your logos and you give us the picture of whatever you want to sell that's carnival related. You set the price. You made an umbrella. You want to sell that umbrella for $1,000. Not a problem. You call us. We set your page up. We come over and take the picture of the umbrella. You keep the umbrella. We put it on your webpage on blackmasking.org. Somebody buys that $1,000 umbrella. Guess what? You get $1,000. Why? Because we put 25% on top to cover the taxes, the shipping, and the handling, and 5% of that 25% goes back to the Feather Fund. So every time you sell something, part of that goes back to the Feather Fund for you to receive feathers at the end of the year. So what we have done is try to create a business structure that would bring economics back to not be controlled by government or controlled by clicks. You know the clicks, because everybody's on, right? Everybody gets a web page. Ain't no click, right? You got your product. If your product is bad, then they're gonna buy your product over somebody else's product. Can't nobody stop you from receiving your funds. Only your talent is your ceiling. Your talent is your only ceiling. So the marketplace, along with the movies, along with the shows, is our way of building money for the Feather Fund. We have not asked anybody in the community to donate to the Feather Fund, and one day that will come, but that's not today. We want to make sure that the structure was in place so that if the foundation is in order, then we can grow. The problem with us in New Orleans is that we very rarely have a good structural foundation to build from. And we're all trying to get it how we live. We're all trying to get it, from however we can get it. You know what I'm saying? From angles, you know what I'm saying? From all kind of angles. We're trying to pull all these different things together. Well, we try to create something that would allow us to do what we do naturally and benefit from it. And like you're saying, Alana, if nobody believes in this, we invested in something that was good. We invested in something that was righteous. So I expect the Most High to repay us. And that can be all of a sudden the shirts go to popping in Brazil, or the shirts go to popping in Europe, and you'll never know. You'll think that y'all got rid of me, and we still got shirts selling somewhere else because of the structure that was put in place, and we'll still be putting money towards the Feather Fund, still trying to take care of our community. Because there ain't that many doing it. Let me show you why. Did I lose my thing? Here we go. So This is an article of what our culture is going to look like if we don't do something like this, period. As you saw the press conference today with the big chiefs that were standing behind the mayor, telling all of the Indians not to go out and do anything. This is an article that says Mayor Cruz, Indians, House Floats, Chief Toast Mardi Gras, and Fat Tuesday live stream. Now, as you guys may have an issue with what we are trying to do with the live stream on Mardi Gras morning with Kevin Goodman, we will not be toasting any of the Europeans' celebrations. We will be singing to wake up our community, which is what the Indians have done on Carnival Day. So it says here, Mayor, Cruz, Indians, House Floats, Chiefs, Toast Mardi Gras, and Fat Tuesday live stream. So they are going to live stream. It says on Mardi Gras morning, the mayor of New Orleans watches parades in front of Gallier Hall, toasting the procession and being cheered in return. This Fat Tuesday, there won't be parades, but the cheers will go on at a safe distance in a program produced by Rex Organization. When we tell you that Comas, which was the racist people that started Mardi Gras, that was made between Judah P. Benjamin, John Slidell, and Albert Pike. Look up those three names. These are three racist men that created Mardi Gras here in New Orleans. And they were over the Comas crew. And it wasn't until it came to the civil rights when Dutch Moriel came, and he was like, all these Mardi Gras crews are now going to be integrated. That Comas said before they would integrate with you niggas, they will quit their crew. So now Comas doesn't parade. They created Bacchus and Rex and Endymion, and they keep their good old boy crew, the Comas, with a ball. They don't celebrate, so they can keep it all clan-like without integrating. So the Rex organization, as you have said about us with the Indians, the Rex organization streamed on Fat Tuesday at 11 a.m. Mayor Latoya Cantrell, Mardi Gras crews, and culture bearers will toast the people of New Orleans and one another in an unprecedented short broadcast. Salute to the people of New Orleans on Mardi Gras 2021 will highlight a pageantry of Carnival and presentation from the Zulu Social Aid and Pleasure Club and the Rex Organization. The U.S. Marine Corps Band, Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra will play, and an invocation will be delivered by Reverend Master Sergeant Christopher Natley of the Archdiocese, I guess he's a priest, of New Orleans, Mark Romick, and the voice of the saints will, that Mark Romick, as the voice of the saints will serve as masters of ceremony. So the representatives of Mardi Gras Indians will speak, and a crew of House Floats captain Megan Boudreaux will also be featured. So I'm confused. I am very, very confused in this hour. How the mayor is not called a culture vulture. How Rex is not called a culture vulture. How Zulu is not called a culture vulture. But black masking Indians that have dedicated their time, energy, and love to this community is a culture vulture. My brother, Big Chief of Creole Wild West, Terrence, man, I thank you for your wise counsel that you have given me in these times. And really, you're the reason why I'm really making this video right now. Because after seeing this, the press conference today with the big chiefs back there, and after seeing this Louisiana Museum article, hold up, I want to get y'all this. Louisiana State Museum. after seeing this article in the State Museum of Moving Art. Where is it? Motion art. Where is it? Hold on. Oh, there it is. I already got it pulled up. I'm tripping, y'all. There you go, right here. So after seeing the press conference today, after understanding the arguments that I've gotten in with certain community leaders, and I'm not talking about Inyans, I'm talking about community, other peoples, right? And their perception is that us Negroes is the ones that's gonna kill everybody. Not all that has happened in the French Quarter, not all the people that's in the city, but if the Indians go out, then we have another spread and mass epidemic upon our hands, all because of you niggas. Wow. Wow. I was really thrown back, man, because I know for a fact that Mardi Gras World, Blaine Kern, who's connected with the crews of Bacchus that comes from that Comas, they had already been bringing in Indian tribes, baby dolls, second line bands, and steppers, filming them beforehand so that they could play it on this live stream that I just read to you that the mayor is going to do. And then the mayor comes out and says, I'm going to shut down Mardi Gras from Friday till Tuesday. So the only thing going, y'all not hearing me, the only thing going is their live stream. So now our Inyans got to risk life and limb being taken to jail. But they taped everybody 2 weeks in advance. And now it's going to display it on Mardi Gras Day. And I'm saying, and I'm sitting up here trying to be a humble man, trying to understand the plight of my community and the brothers that are voicing their issues and concerns. And I'm saying, but look at this travesty. Look at this bull crap. Why ain't nobody saying nothing about this? Why ain't nobody speaking on these people? So then, like I said, Big Chief Terrence, I made it because at that point I was like, I'm not gonna make any kind of conversation about what my company has done because we, as I laid out, we have done everything by the book righteously for the community. And this is the first year that we have turned around and asked the community to pay to see anything that we have provided. And by the way, Mardi Gras morning is $3 to see Big Chief Kevin Goodman and the C Casa Samba Brazilian dancers to wake up our community 9 to 11 a.m. The hypocrisy has to stop. The Louisiana State Museum has Mystery in Motion, African American masking, and spirituality in Mardi Gras. That is the new exhibit that's going to be happening in the State Museum. And this is saying that they're going to have a full exhibit with all of our cultures done by two, done by Kim Vesdeville, professor at Xavier University, and Ron Bechet at Xavier University. And these people have put together color, sound, and energy fill the streets on Mardi Gras. African Americans have long used this annual ritual to express Black spiritual traditions. Black spiritual traditions. A lot of what takes place for me on this day is almost like an out-of-body experience, says Big Chief Chopitulos of the Golden Feathers. Spiritual themes drawn from African, Islamic, Native, and European. Now, I'm going to stop right there. Many of you, and I know a bunch of Indians that's tuned in right now, they already got a problem with Shaka, and they're going to have a bigger problem with this, stating that what they do is connected between Islamic, African, Native American, and European belief systems. Well, guess what? The nigga ain't lying. It's sad. We can be mad all we want, but at the end of the day, it's sad because you have European baby dolls, you have European tribe members. The sewing of the suits, some of them will take on themes of movies, Ninja Turtles, anything. That would be a European influence into the system. When you sew in European ideas onto your suit, then it does add that. And since we are a community of diverse peoples and personalities and spiritualities, absolutely, you're going to find that Islamic has certain aspects in the culture, especially because they believe that that's the black man's religion, right? So, which is a native tradition of the masking of Inyans, which I'm not sure how much in the beginning was Islamic in it. Now, as I state to many people, and we have to understand that before the Europeans came, that we were trading with all countries. The problem is that Islam didn't come along until the last religion. It's the last one. It came along in the late 600s, 700 AD, right? So you understand that the Indians were pushed out of Louisiana in 726 AD by the French and the Spanish in 726. That Poverty Point died in 726. The Reconquista of the Spanish conquest of the North America started in 722. So what I'm saying is that there may have been some Islamics, but it wasn't a lot because the religion wasn't even around, like talking about it at that point, at that moment. Then you have, African culture in it. As you can see, that is, we all know who that is. That is Fayaya, the spirit of Victor Harris, Big Chief Fayaya, who holds down a Yoruba style of suit, which works. Why? Because in Africa they wore feathers. So anyway, this is are focused on exhibition of African Americans masking, including Mardi Gras Indians, baby dolls, and skeletons. Mardi Gras Indians constitute one of the most vibrant women and children adorn themselves with hand-sewn creations and feathers, beads, rhinestones, sequins, and other materials and tribes and gangs, so forth, right? What I want y'all to understand, and I'm about to switch it back to the article, that these two people of color, Kim Baya DeVille and Ron Bechet, are using the words of Mardi Gras Indians, right? Why are they using that? Here it says maskers and skeleton suits of paper mache, skulls and whatnot, right? I thought they used black masking at one time here, but they don't, right? So when we look at the reason why they don't use any type of thing connected to black masking, because they're a Louisiana State Museum, meaning they're funded by Louisiana, meaning that they have to use the word Mardi Gras. If there's any federal funding, any state funding that come in, you must be now pigeonholed as a Mardi Gras Indian for anybody to get money to show your light. So if we don't do what we're doing on our own, if we don't come together as a community to rally about our own, The only time we will be talked about or heralded or looked in a royal light is if we take their name, is if we take their destination. That's why it's a Louisiana State Museum, and they couldn't say black, so they say African American masking and spirituality in Mardi Gras. There was no spirituality in Mardi Gras. What are you talking about? But when you go back here to the mayor, these people understand that black masking is what we are called, right? Or a name, right? Because she actually used culture bearers. Maybe she used the Mardi Gras. Yeah, they all used. I had one that had the black masking in it, but wasn't this one. So all of these state and city run ones, you're going to be referred to as that, as a Mardi Gras crew, an Indian, and they will continue to get people that will participate. So, Big Chief Terrence, as he told me, I needed to do this just to let everybody know what we're doing. That many people don't know what we're doing. So, our hopes and our plans with this particular festival, this that we pray that the community will support, is that we're going to do what they said they're doing. And they just said they're doing a live stream with a procession. That's what we're doing. We're calling out all Indian tribes, anyone that wants to be a part of what we're trying to do to show our culture in its light without their words. We are filming in between the 17th of February and the 1st of March. Get at me and we will give y'all a time and a date to come to a private location where we will film your tribe alone, or your steppers group alone, or your brass band alone, and we're going to let the international world see it via live stream. Only way we're going to be able to change the culture is if we tell the people outside of New Orleans, outside of Louisiana, what we are. If we show ourselves outside of New Orleans, outside of Louisiana, for what we are inside of Louisiana as a tightly contained unit. I pray that, I'm not losing y'all tonight. I pray that I didn't go long-winded. I pray that you didn't see any emotion but passion for the work that we've done. I'm not mad at anyone. I'm not mad at anybody that checked and wanted to know what we're about. I thank y'all for the opportunity to let y'all know what we're about. And I pray that you guys can support us. If not, that's okay. I just pray that you don't hate us. I just pray that you don't find that we are an enemy to you. In our scripture, it says it is better to be a non-enemy than it is to be a friend. So I don't desire to be everybody's friend, but I do desire to be no one's enemy. You may not like me, you may not rock with what we're doing, but that doesn't mean you gotta hate me, and doesn't mean I gotta hate you. It doesn't mean that we can't come on common grounds to help for the community. Doesn't matter the spiritual background, doesn't matter the spiritual belief. I don't care. Yeah, Bird. There's a whole bunch, right, Bird? Yeah. So what I'm saying is that we have done our best. And I'm not saying that we were perfect in our attempts to work for the community. Maybe we could have been more forthcoming with what our plans were and explained it. But I came from a family, and it's not an excuse, but I came from a family that told me do the work. And that's what y'all see, the work that we've done. And I pray that it's pleasing to y'all, that we are truly not trying to steal anything from the culture. We're not trying to change the culture. We created our LLC to not be a nonprofit. We created an LLC so that we would be able to change the narration, change where the funding would go. And in order for us to do that, then we had to create the backstory of it to build value. If you ever wonder how art sells for so much money, a Basquiat or Rembrandt, It's because of the story. It's because of the artist. It's because of everything that the artist is builds value to the painting that he painted. So in order for us to receive funding or to receive economic stability directly into our community, we had to have the story of our community. Because the story of Mardi Gras, the money goes to the city. It goes to the feds. It does not come to the community. By us doing this story, by us letting the chiefs speak their truth, now we have enough background and enough information on the internet to know that this is a real community of people that is underserved, that is serving New Orleans better than it has ever done, better than New Orleans has ever done for them. Like I said, we got the letter that stated that the Indians bring $90 million to the city a year in tourism. That's not to mentioning your tax dollars that you spend in the city and that you pay for Mardi Gras to happen, but yet they refuse to pay for your celebrations or have any type of funding for what you're doing. But yet in 4 other countries across the world that does carnival, their governments pay for everything they need because they understand that it brings tourism dollar to their city, to their country. So it's an investment. New Orleans has been getting it for free. New Orleans has been getting the milk from the cow for free. And as long as we fight over each other, as long as we backstab and chop each other down, we will never be able to rise up and say, nah, enough is enough. You got to pay the toll. So any tribe that want to participate, any Steppers Club that want to participate, hit us up at Black Masking Fest. Black Masking Fest at Gmail. Just send us an email, or you can hit me on the DM on Black Masking NOLA IG, or hit us at Black Masking Indians on Facebook. Now, when I did speak to the gentlemen that were upset, and they were upset about the word masking, I agreed to sit down with them. I'm a man of my word, so I will still do that. If the chiefs come together, if the brother can bring the chiefs together that want to sit down and discuss what we're doing next, the name, whatever, I have no problem. I welcome it. I will sit down with any of the chiefs. But as I told him, because I see so much backstabbing in our own community, because I see so many, one person will tell you yes, and then they leave you and they say no, I will not be at the whim of men. I will not be at the whim of emotional men. We want to sit down and come together and make a plan. I'm about it. I'll sit down with anybody. I would love to, because we need the help. Straight up. Brother's tired. The journey's been long. So we welcome that. Black Masking Fest at Gmail. We are willing to sit down with the chiefs that want to discuss any further things that we're doing, the names or whatever it may be. We can do that. But understand that when we do sit down, we got to know that this is the history of Black Masking, that we have been documenting the true story, that we have been documenting we have been giving to the community. As you can go to our Black Masking page, we did this, and this is another event that I didn't even, when we was at BOK, we brought in for the last night, we brought in the big chiefs, and this is just one of them. We bring in big chiefs down my town.
To the fact that the Most High
so they can talk about
made chiefs,
I'm gonna let y'all hear
that the world run by the word chief from the United.
I don't like, but
that the Most High made chiefs, that the world run by the word chief, from the United States to what we just read as the definition of chiefs, as leaders, as people at the forefront of our community. So that we will honor that. We plan on giving roses out tonight. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be dead.
I love the Black History.
But it's good for people to receive their roses before they leave.
Yes. So I'm going to introduce, this is Big Chief Daryl Montana of the world famous Yellow Pocahontas. Yes.
Good evening, everybody.
Yes, we're going to bring a little. Yeah, good night. It's been a good night. So we've been talking to the chiefs about this culture and about coming together. when we spoke with Shaka, we talked about that in together in his travels, in his studies of culture and the history and knowing about this culture. Bringing in Big Chief Walton, talking about how the mentality of the tribe is. It's us. It's not one. It's not the other person. That is the cornerstone of a tribe. And then bringing Big Chief Black in and Big Chief talking about how understanding that as we're learning as a chief, the thing that impressed me is how humble all big chiefs are. Anyone that's worth their salt as a big chief is humble because of you've gone through so many things that have knocked you down and you stood right back up. Never let anything hold you down. And then let other men and inspire other men to do the same. Most people ain't got enough inspiration for themselves.
I'm going to say this, that when you start the journey of this chief, there's not a how to be a good chief guide. I remember when I was becoming chief in the community, they would say, after coming after my father, Big Chief Allison Tootie Montana, that they would always say that I had big shoes to fill. And, you know, for folks to constantly say that to you, you know, it's a lot of pressure just making a suit, let alone taking over the role as a chief. And when I found that I was gonna be chief, then I say, well, I took on, I think, the presence of a chief. That's you know, I never really got involved in it to be a chief. I just wanted to be a part of the culture. Mm-hmm. But when my chief made me chief, I was chief. That's right. And nobody can deny me. That's right. You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of attitude you have. But you have to have. But also, even with having that kind of attitude, you also have to have the tenacity and the discipline to make it happen. Because everybody can talk about being a chief, but do they have the wherewithal to make it happen? And that's you know, it is not an easy road. I always say this, that I would not wish it on my worst enemy.
Come on, Chief. You wouldn't wish being a chief on your worst enemy? I'm telling
you, it's a whole lot of work involved with that. The people see what they see the beauty of it, but they don't know what it takes, the process. Right. The process is a sacrifice. No life. Your life is sitting at that table with the needle and thread, and then after that, everything else is sweetness. But when you start the process, like with me, I would always start sewing right after my birthday. My birthday is in April. Right after April, I'm sewing. I have about maybe 2 or 3 month break, and I'm sewing from the time I get started after my birthday up until Mardi Gras morning, Mardi Gras evening. Long as I make the call, I've always had dreams of one day coming out before the sun come up. And in 48 years, I was not able to do it.
I said 48 years. I'm trying hard though.
48 years, I could never do it. I remember one time. My daddy, he always knew something I didn't know, but I had to learn, right? He would always ask me, he said, well, Darryl, what time, when you think you're going to be finished? And I give him a time. I said, oh, man, I'll be finished by such and such. I said, 10 o'clock, I'm going to be coming out the house. Or I'm going to be able to come out. I'm going to be able to come out and see and when the sun come up and then take my suit off and then go back out there at 10 o'clock.
You thought you were going to be able to double dip?
Never happened. I thought one day I would be able to go to London Gras. I've never seen London Gras in my life.
That's the Monday before. A lot of people that I know,
I've never been to that. I remember as a kid, I guess I was around maybe 10 years old. That was the last time I went to the float parades. That really, and I remember when I was going to the float parades, when I would try to guess the blooms or the beads, they would try to stump my fingers not to let me get, so I knew that wasn't for me.
Right, so the parades wasn't for you.
Parades wasn't for me.
Not nobody stumping my fingers.
I wind up going strictly all the way Indian. But it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. There's some things in it, some ugliness in it that I don't like, but you know, I try to stay focused on my craft.
So I just wanted to play that clip just to show how we have been trying to bring the light to the culture in any way that we can, from being on WBOK, from doing the videos to anything that we can do to be good stewards and servants in this community. So with that said, man, that's all that I really have, and like I said, I'll read the last part of what we're trying to do. And again, I said anyone that wants to be a part of what we're doing, we are wide open arms, right? We're gonna have, I said, the Nova International Carnival 2021 will include live performances from international and national as well as local performing music artists. Other forms of entertainment will include brass bands, dancers, steppers, and most importantly, appearances from various Black Mexican Inyan tribes, or as Bird said, Black Inyan tribes. The small business community will participate by taking advantage of blackmasking.org's international carnival marketplace online business shop listing opportunities. So the world will be able to come to your website and see your listing, go to your page, go to your story as a tribe, right? And that's where I'm at. Small business community will participate by taking advantage of the blackmasking.org's international marketplace, online business shops, listing opportunities, creating an awesome environment filled with indigenous arts and crafts and apparel. Online viewers will also have the opportunity to witness preparation of indigenous cuisines by New Orleans Oritri Catering. So we got Oritri Creating is going to do a video of cooking authentic New Orleans foods. We're going to have a sewing by Big Chief David Montana Peters, which is not going to be, they're not going to be able to tell what we're doing, right? They're just going to talk about beading and the Washita Nation tribe, and then we're going to have Big Chief Honey of the Sioux tribe, along with various footwork artists from New Orleans. Then we're going to have John Keller of the American Can. He's going to do a special little message to inspire the masculine or the Black Indian community to keep going through this COVID-19 and all these things that are happening, because we can't act like COVID is not happening, right? And then so on our Easter Sunday, we're going to display when everybody comes in at their separate times, at their separate locations, that we're going to film the Indians, the tribes, the second line bands, whoever wants to participate, because we can't pay everybody. We can't pay, period. It ain't the situation. So it's the people that want to do it, right? These are the people that are going to get a free store. And even if you don't participate, we're going to give you a free store. So even though we don't have money to pay you guys to come in, even if you want to participate or not, you can still get a store on the website for you to create your own economics, because the city's not going to give it to you. They're never going to make a way for us to make our own economics within them. So where was I on here? So after he does that, and we'll have the first year. This year, the festival carnival will culminate with a live stream private after party at Club Caribbean. So once we done filmed it on Easter Sunday, we're gonna debut it for everybody to see at 5 o'clock, and it should be about 2 hours. The amount of tribes we have right now, and the amount of steppers and the baby dolls that we got right now, which is all praise to the Most High, it's gonna be about an hour and a half, 2 hours worth of procession, right? From our whole our community. And then afterwards, we're going to have an after party right there at Club Caribbean. Shouts out to Al for opening up his doors for us so that we will be able to have that. I'm hoping that this whole COVID thing and the mayor will stop tripping by Easter, right? And then Easter, we would have at Club Caribbean, we will have Big Chief Kevin Goodman is going to have an Indian practice, so to speak. And we're going to unveil a painting of Big Chief Lil Walter Cook for all his years of service in his community. And also we're going to have a live performance inside there by Eric B. and the Nation of Gumbalaya, right? So that's what we're planning. On St. Joseph night, we're going to have a conference call, and we're going to have a Portuguese interpreter so that all of our community can see what the Brazil is saying. Y'all checking my words, see what Brazil is saying, see what the international water is like. Because trust me, The water is just fine and they're waiting for us. We just have to be unified and go get it. So you'll get the chance to hear from the Brazilian people's mouths directly. And you'll have chiefs in there as well. And we're going to talk about building economics internationally. That's what we want to have on St. Joseph Night, is a conversation about building economics for our community internationally. These are the 3 films. Well, these, we don't have the St. Joseph Night flyer up, but this is the 3 flyers. Lundi Gras Night, where we're debuting the downtown film. Mardi Gras Morning, Big Chief Kevin Goodman and the Samba Casa Samba. And then on Easter Sunday, this is the big one when we're going to have all the tribes and everybody in a nice presentation of our culture. We pray that everybody will enjoy. If there's any questions, man, I'll take any questions from anybody. That may have a question about what we're doing. Anything, just I'm here. I'll wait a few minutes and see if anybody got any questions. I see you in the building, Monica. Anybody got questions? I see y'all on Instagram, Black Boys 1975, Shotgun. My sister's in the building, BBJ. Look, any questions about what we're trying to do for the community? All right, he said, I'm looking for kids to travel football. If you know some ages, 6 to 7, 8 to 9 to 10 to 11. Absolutely, Bird. We'll put the word out. And see, that's the type of thing that we want to be able to be, some type of a bulletin board for the community. So we can put these type of things up so our community knows to go and help out wherever they can. Yeah, so anybody out there, man, get with Bird Sanford, Big Chief, on any kids that want to get into the football. And I know other brothers like Timothy is trying to work for the kids that are incarcerated. And we got a lot of kids that don't have homes. And in New Orleans, they're putting them in jail instead of putting them in foster homes. And they are actually really trying to work together to save our kids, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say I can never be upset with nobody, because that brother's mission is a more than respectable. It's honorable. You feel me? So, our kids that are displaced in our community, it is a travesty that they are putting them in jail instead of homes, or figuring out a way to work with them, or creating any kind of economics for them. That's what we want to do. So, man, anybody that can help out brother Big Chief Bird, anybody can help out Timothy with the fact that they are trying to get our kids from being incarcerated due to not having families. Just because, not that they did anything wrong, their families abandoned them, whatever the situation may be. So we have to understand that we got to help each other in this community in any way we can. And doesn't mean that you got to join my organization, I got to join your organization, but we can help each other. We can do things to just, yeah, man, pick each other up. I posted this thing tonight before I came on, and it brought me to tears. It was Snoop's thing when he did I Want to Thank Me, which is very arrogant, right? But in the end of it, he showed all of the fighting that he went through with all the fighting he did with Death Row, all that stuff that happened in the 90s, him having to leave Death Row, being threatened to kill, going to jail almost, getting off the murder charge, then coming to New Orleans, coming to Baton Rouge and being with Master P, and him seeing us act a way he had never seen Black people act before. He said, man, I came from California where everybody trying to get their hustling, everybody trying to get one on you. He said, man, when I came to New Orleans, P had everybody, they wouldn't even let me pump my own gas. He said, that's you, Snoop. They wouldn't let him buy groceries. They wouldn't let the community wrap their arms around him. He said he ain't never felt nothing like that before, because that's what we are as a community. But we've been stuck in this crab barrel so long together that we don't do that with each other. We do that with people that come from out of town. We do that from people that look like they got a name or something, right? I brought the Snoop thing up, not for that, but for at the end, after he had gone through all these things, and now he's at this place of his own money because Master P taught him how. And he stated Master P taught him how to make his movies, how to do his things, how to get his money, how to get other acts out. So now he's comfortable and now he's giving back to the community. And he had a little league, Snoop's Little League, which many people have heard of. But this video was about Snoop's Star Football League. It was about special needs kids, and that he had done a league for special needs kids, like my brother Bird is trying to get the games for the kids in our communities. Snoop was doing that in California. So we gotta support it. And Snoop did one for special need kids, a flag football game, and man, I'm gonna tell you, I was crying like a baby because that's what our goal is with Black Masking, to be an impact unto our community and our community appreciate it. Those kids were so appreciative of getting out and having a party afterwards where they got to dress up like we did with the film premiere with the red carpet. They got a lot of chiefs that's been in part of films and been flown to Italy and flown to France and been put on red carpets, but not their tribes. So when we did ours here, we wanted to put a red carpet here so that all of the chiefs that participated with us will walk up that red carpet. And if they want to bring their tribe, they could walk up with their tribe. Snoop, when they went to thank him at the end of the evening for his participation in that league, Snoop couldn't even talk because he was crying so much. Out of all the things he had done in life, out of all the fights that he had gone through, people trying to kill him, him trying to kill us, all of that, no tears in the hood in the street. But when it came to giving back to the community and receiving unconditional love and appreciation for what you do, it'll bring any man to his tears, bring any man to his knees. And there ain't nothing more in the world greater to have than that. Not sex, not a championship, not money, but the appreciation of the people that you love, that you're working for. That is what we fight for. That's all that we have. That's all that we are looking to achieve at the end of this. But I understand, like Yasha, that they all hated him and they killed him. So my plea tonight, or my company's plea tonight, may fall upon deaf ears. And that's okay. But we won't stop doing the righteous thing that we have been doing. And we will be mindful and respectful at every turn. Because in the end, even if it comes to everybody hating us, everybody hating me, everybody calling me whatever names, cursing me out, what will be for sure is the work will be there left. And the work will be of you. You won't see me. You will see you. That's all we got to say. All praises to the Most High. I pray we can all work together. And Black Masking Fest. Go to blackmaskingfest@gmail to participate. If you're a brass band, if you're steppers, if you're footwork, we definitely need some people that do footwork. I really want to showcase footwork, and we really haven't come across a good group yet, a family group that does it together. So anybody that's interested in helping out with that, please do. We think we got a brass band. We're not sure. We got baby dolls. We got chiefs. We got big queens. But skull and bones we don't have. A couple other things we don't have. So, if you are a person of the culture and want to participate, please give us a shout at blackmaskingfest@gmail, and look forward to the marketplace. Remember, that is what we're trying to do, to build economics within our community without anybody else. And we can do it. There's too many people across the world that know what we are and have been advertised that it should not be a problem for us to step in as owners of our culture and get the same type of fanfare that the others got by showcasing you, right? Um, so with the marketplace, with the St. Joseph night, with the Mardi Gras morning, and the Lundi Gras film, and to my uptowners, man, I'm coming with the film, brothers. We just give me. I already interviewed Juan Pardo. I done got me a lot of uptown interviews. We already got them, you know. I just have to. We got to chop them up and get the true story. So, and you know, and that's still a learning process, right? Still talking to more and more in the community that have a deeper story. I'm looking into my brother Chito Pot. We're gonna do something on the Yamasee. We're gonna do something on the Yamasee on this site. This site is gonna be dedicated to Black Indians. You know, um, masking is just an arbitrary word. It's a process. It's something that's done on Mardi Gras Day. But Black Indians is what we all are. Myself as well, because it's in my blood, and so was it in the people that were here prior to the Europeans. So, with that said, nothing but love for you guys. We pray that everybody is all good. I see them building Big Joe. What's up, Big Joe? Yeah. Yeah, you saw the Snoop thing is big out there, changed a bunch of kids' lives. That's what we trying to do, man. That's what we trying to do. Well, with that said, again, I was waiting for any questions. If anybody had any questions, thank you, Big Chief Bird, for coming in. But as y'all know, people watch this afterwards. So anybody that's catching this on a rebroadcast, stick your questions in, man, or DM me, and let's see how we can work together. All praise to the Most High. I will see y'all on tomorrow night for our Hebrew State of Being show.